All right, let's dive into what is honestly a massive power shift happening right now in the Indian health insurance world. You've got Star Health, the big name, and then you've got this up and comer, Galaxy Health. But this is way more than just a simple competition. It's a fascinating look at what happens when a market leader's reputation just crumbles. And right at the heart of this story, it's the insurance advisors. They're the ones on the ground, and we're going to look at exactly why they're jumping ship from the giant to the new guy on the block.
Okay, look at this number. 31 million. That's not just a number. That's 31 million people whose very private, very personal medical information got leaked in a massive data breach at Star Health. I mean, wow. It's not just a PR problem, it's the very epicenter of a complete breakdown in trust. You know, this is an industry that is built on security and privacy, so a breach this big, it's like finding a giant crack in the foundation of a skyscraper. And, as you'll see, that crack is exactly where the competition sees its opening. So here's how we're going to unpack this whole thing. First, we'll look at the big picture. What's changing in the insurance game? Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of why Star is losing its top people. After that, we'll switch gears and see how Galaxy became this magnet for talent. We'll put them side by side to see how they stack up, and then we'll finish by looking at what, if anything, Star can do to turn things around.
Okay, let's set the scene. For a long, long time, Star Health was the name in Indian health insurance. The undisputed heavyweight champion, you could say. But now, well, the ground is literally shifting under their feet. A new player, Galaxy Health, has stepped into the ring, and they're not just throwing punches on price. No, their biggest weapon is something far more powerful. They're competing on trust. And this right here, this gets to the absolute core of what's changing. For ages, the playbook was simple. The company with the most hospitals in its network wins. Easy. But that's not the game anymore. The new currencies, what really matters now, are things like data privacy, how you treat your own people, and being straight up honest about claims. And this isn't just something customers care about. For the advisors, the folks actually selling the policies, this is a total game changer. Their trust is now the ultimate prize. So the rules of the game are changing, right? Let's take a closer look at how the reigning champ, Star Health, just completely missed the memo. We're going to really dive deep into their crisis, because it's not just one thing that went wrong. It's more like a domino effect, a cascade of failures. A security disaster leads to an operational mess, and that mess is what sends their best people running for the doors. Yeah, the source material we're looking at calls it a reputational recession. And honestly, that phrase is just perfect. Think about it. It's like an economic crash, but for a company's good name. You've got this massive public data breach on the outside, and all this chaos and instability on the inside. And together, it created the perfect storm that just wiped out trust from every possible angle. And you can see here how this whole thing just snowballed. It kicks off with that huge data leak, then, bam, a penalty from the regulators for over 3 crore rupees. But that's just the warm-up act. The real monster lurking in the shadows is this potential liability under the new Data Protection Act. We're talking a potential hit of 250 crore rupees. To put that in perspective, a fine that big could seriously cripple their ability to grow or invest in anything, which of course just makes everything even more unstable. In this chart, it shows you exactly how those internal problems spill over and affect real people. Star Health has the highest number of customer complaints in the entire industry, 51 for every 100,000 policies. And you have to ask, why? Well, it's things like surprise deductions from claims, confusing clauses buried in the fine print. Now, imagine you're the advisor who sold that policy. This is an absolute nightmare. You're the one getting the angry phone calls. It makes your job impossible, it hurts your professional reputation, and it's a massive reason why you'd start looking for the exit. And if you look inside the company, you can see the engine room of this whole talent exodus. It's really a perfect storm of a bad work culture. First up, you have this fall guy mentality, where no one at the top takes responsibility and blame always rolls downhill. Then you've got this toxic push for productivity. We're talking brutal 12-hour days, even forced night shifts. And to top it all off, the money's not even good. Appraisals as low as 1.5%? That's not a raise. That's a pay cut with inflation. So if you're a good advisor and you have other options, this isn't just a bad job, it's a sinking ship. So while all this chaos is happening at Star, what's Galaxy Health doing? They're watching, they're learning, and they are very, very smartly positioning themselves as the complete opposite of Star, as a safe place to land. They saw this huge vacuum being created by Star's meltdown, and they built their entire strategy around one thing: attracting all that amazing talent that was suddenly up for grabs. So, how'd they pull it off? Well, it all starts with credibility. Think about it. In an industry that's suddenly full of scandal and distrust, Galaxy comes onto the scene backed by huge, trusted names like Venu Srinivasan from the TVS family. That's not just a name, it's a pedigree of trust. It's like a seal of approval. If you're an advisor worried about your career and where the industry is heading, that kind of stability is incredibly appealing.
And they didn't just stop at having a good name. They took that trust and built this incredibly smart package just for advisors. It's basically a three-point attack that hits every single one of Star's weaknesses. First, they offer unlimited earning potential, so your hard work actually pays off. Second, they have new, innovative products that are genuinely easy to sell because they're good. And third, a smooth digital process that gets rid of all the paperwork and headaches. I mean, it's like they made a list of every single thing advisors complained about at Star and said, we'll fix that. Okay, so we've seen both sides of the story. Now let's put them right next to each other. Head to head, this is where you can really see the contrast and understand the dynamics of this huge shift. This table really just lays it all out, doesn't it? You've got Star Health over here, the old guard, but they're drowning in bad press, their employees are unhappy, and they have this massive legal risk hanging over their heads. Then you have Galaxy, the new kid on the block, full of positive energy and high morale. But, and this is super important, look at their key risk. It's scaling. Growing too fast can be its own kind of problem. The biggest danger for them is that in their rush to grow, they end up making the very same mistakes that are sinking their rival. So that brings us to the big question. Can Star Health actually pull out of this nosedive? I mean, they're still a massive company, there's no denying that, but they're hemorrhaging both trust and talent. So what would it actually take for them to turn this ship around? Well, there are no easy fixes, but it would have to be a three-step plan. Step one, and this is non-negotiable, they have to fix their security issues. Not just patch them, but get to the absolute root of the problem. Step two, they've got to fix their day-to-day operations. Make the claims process smoother so they stop alienating customers and their hospital partners. But honestly, the hardest part is step three. They have to fix their company culture. They have to rebuild trust with their own employees first, from the inside out. Without that, nothing else matters. And that really leaves us with the big final thought here. This whole story, it's not really about insurance policies or market share when you boil it down. It is a battle for trust. And as Star Health is learning the hard way, trust is easy to lose and incredibly hard to win back. The real question is, in today's world, can a giant that has fallen so far ever truly rebuild what it has lost?